Hi friends, today we're going to do my less than 10-minute writing exercise that will improve your writing by expanding your vocabulary. I've selected 3 words for us to play around with today with our writing. We're going to use each one of these words in a sentence so we can better understand them by putting them into context. I will give you general definitions, but I've also included links below to Merriam-Webster's website where you can find the formal definitions and pronunciations, and I've also included my sample sentences in the description below as well. Today's 3 words I've selected are Rubicon, ghosting, and vetted. Rubicon, ghosting, and vetted. All right, let's use Rubicon in a sentence. And Rubicon is a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing, and it means a bounding or limiting line. Okay, what can we come up with Rubicon? Let's see. When they took action against their leadership, they crossed the Rubicon and would need to either overthrow their leader or be subject to harsh punishment and imprisonment. Okay, I didn't mean that sentence to be so long, but anyway, here's Rubicon. And again, Rubicon means a bounding or limiting line. They're crossing some line that they cannot go back on. And I believe the Rubicon comes from the name of some river in northern Italy. You can look that up as well if you're interested in the origin of the word Rubicon. I believe that's why it is capitalized. Because normally you wouldn't capitalize a word that's, unless it's, referencing something that's, a specific thing that needs capitalization. Anyway, you got this group of folks that did something against their leadership, and whatever it was, it crossed the line to where they have to overthrow their leader. Otherwise, they're going to be punished and imprisoned. So basically, again, Rubicon is a bounding or a limiting line that these folks happen to cross, and there's no return from. That's Rubicon. All right, let's move on to ghosting. And ghosting is one of those words that I hate because it's just an odd choice of words for what it means, and but it's so popular in our culture these days that so many people are using ghosting, especially in social media. Anyway, ghosting is a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing, and it means a faint double image on a display or television. That's the traditional meaning for it. Or it can mean the act of cutting all contact with someone. So that's the more modern, added meaning to ghosting that, like I mentioned before, is used in social media. Anyway, let's see what kind of sentence we can come up with for ghosting. Let's see. after. No. From her for a month, he figured she had ghosted him. Okay, there's ghosted. So this fellow, I don't know if this is a girl that he's dated or whatever, but she has not replied to any of his messages for a month. I'm sure people would think they're being ghosted if it was a shorter time period than a month, but definitely a month would confirm that this girl is not going to contact this man. So he figures that she had ghosted him. She had cut all contact with him. So that's ghosting in that more modern sense of using the word. Anyway, let's move on to our last word for the day, and it is vetted. And vetted is also one of those weird words, and I'll get to that in a moment. But vetted is an adjective, a word that describes, and it means subjected to evaluation or appraisal. All right. And the background of this word vetted comes from when people were, I guess, buying horses, and they needed to have a veterinarian look at this horse to see how it was, if it was healthy, if it was worth the price this buyer was willing to pay. So you're getting that horse vetted, and that's where that word really comes from. So I kind of have a problem with this word being used in the manner that's been used in, like current modern times. And I'll write a sentence so you understand what I'm saying, and you've probably heard this before. All right. The manager vetted the potential candidates for the new job. Okay, they have a new job open, and you got this manager basically checking the references of these potential candidates that they're considering for this new job. And here's the word vetted, where you're subjecting to evaluation or appraisal. Again, it's a weird word because when you think of its origin, where you're taking essentially an animal to the vet to check on its quality of this animal, it's just a weird thing to say you're vetting these potential employees. Imagine them taking these employees to some vet to have them looked at for their health to decide if you want to hire these people. It's just an odd word. But anyway, it's used often, and I'm sure it'll continue to be so. But anyway, 3 wonderful, interesting words: Rubicon, ghosting, and vetted. Play around with these words. Use them in a sentence. Make them part of you so they're accessible to you when you write. If you enjoyed this writing exercise, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy writing.